So next is Huda Ammori. Huda is British, Iraqi and Palestinian. She's an activist. She is the co-founder of Palestine Action, which is a... I can see I don't need to tell you what it is. It's a direct action group which works against Israeli arms firms, especially Elbit, the drone maker. And you've shut down how many? Yeah. 8 to go. Well done. She takes Palestine Action takes direct action. They actually go onto the ground and they work hard to actually shut down these Israeli arms firms which are working in our country. And she's going to talk a little bit here. Here we go.
Hi everyone, it's so great to see so many people here and so many friends in the crowd as well, and thank you Asa for not only for doing this book but for your consistent work on uncovering the truth when many were too scared to do so. So truly thank you for all that you do. So I actually joined the Labour Party, as you can imagine, when Jeremy Corbyn was the leader of the party, and it was actually a bit of a change for me and a little bit strange in a sense, because it was only a decade before that it was the Labour Party who was leading this country into war in my mother's country. But with Jeremy Corbyn, we saw a chance for change, a vehicle for change, and there was hope. And specifically for me as a Palestinian and for many others, there was hope that under a Labour government with Jeremy Corbyn, that we could break Britain's complicity with the ongoing oppression of the Palestinian people, a complicity that's been going back for over 100 years and which every successive government has maintained. But shortly after that, I saw that all the conversations on Palestine were being dominated by these attacks and this weaponization of anti-Semitism. It was getting harder and harder to talk about Palestine without needing to defend yourself or defend your friends who are also being attacked. And I believe this is one of the ways it was designed to be. It was designed so that we were forced in a position to react to their accusations and to distract us from what was happening in Palestine. And we saw this in 2018. We saw in Gaza, there were tens of thousands of Palestinians marching to the fence which had entrapped them under a brutal siege for over a decade. And they were met with live fire by Israeli snipers and weapons which were in part supplied by the British. And they were sniping down and killing unarmed protesters. And we saw that they would actually use bullets that were designed to explode on impact, so that the only way to treat the injury would be to amputate the limb. And they did this to a Palestinian footballer on the first day of these protests. And at the same time, in the Labour Party, the IHRA definition of anti-Semitism was being passed. People were capitulating, and there was hardly any mention of the slaughter of the Palestinians that was going on in Gaza. There was no mention of it on the news, but anti-Semitism was everywhere. But even despite this, there was still hope. And I remember in 2019, which was the first time in British political history that an arms embargo, a motion for an arms embargo, 2 ways between here and Israel, was on the Labour Party manifesto for the first time. And that was incredible. I mean, I was absolutely elated to see that. But as we saw in 2019 with the general election, Corbyn was defeated, and those policies were nowhere near close now to ever coming into fruition. And I thank Asa for writing this book, because we can see clearly now all of what was happening behind the scenes to make sure that policies like that would never be able to come into this government and be made into reality through that process. And that's why myself and so many others through different walks of life said, well, if you try and take away our voice, if you try and silence us, demonize us, harass us, then you can't stop us from using our own bodies to put them in the way of Israeli weapons manufacturers across this country and that we will impose our own arms embargo on Israel. We will take direct action to shut down every single one of these weapons manufacturers operating across this country. No one should ever feel like they need to capitulate their solidarity with Palestine, and we will never capitulate that solidarity. If they shut us out of the political parties, we will go to the streets and we will resist, because the Palestinians are our brothers and sisters and we stand with them throughout all of this. Thank you.